I ended last time, so I do the intro. Hello. Welcome to the RC Lawn Chair Pilots podcast. I'm Derek.
I'm Steven.
Thank you for joining us. Again, if you've made it this far, this is episode 6. Yay!
Sweet.
We've been doing this. That makes almost 2 months we've been doing this.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
For the estimated 11 of you that listen and the estimated 7 of you that watch.
Actually,
thank you.
Like, those are subscribers.
Yes, but
it's about 50 that are watching.
Oh, really? 50 individual?
Well, I don't know if they're individual or if they just the same people keep watching it over and over again. I'm not really sure.
Whoever you are, thank you.
A couple of the videos are doing really good. Thank you very much. We appreciate the support. It's awesome.
So before we get too far in, make sure if you're watching this on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff that everyone always says. And if you're listening to us on any of the podcast platforms, be sure to hit that subscribe button. And each one's different, so I don't know how to.
And if you can, go ahead and leave us a review too.
Oh yeah, there you go. Give us a review if you like what we're doing. Tell your friends.
Give us a comment also.
Yes.
Wherever you can do that. So reviews and comments and whatnot. We like it. It's.
All the it's. All right.
But thank you. So should we move forward with?
Yes, we shall.
This last 2 weeks was kind of rough for a lot of us. A lot of things changed. So it's been busy for us.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll still bring some valuable content to you today.
Mm-hmm.
But Derek, what do you got going on? What's your news?
So this has been a slow couple weeks for me, RC wise. My wife and I did a little pre-baby early anniversary trip. So I was gone for a good portion of last week. And this week's been kind of slow. But so in preparation for Soar, Utah, I've done a couple things. First off, I bought my AMA license.
Sweet. How much did that cost?
$75.
Okay.
So we'll give a quick breakdown.
This is what he was looking up.
Yeah, I looked this up
before we got started,
yep.
But not before we were. Anyway.
Yeah. So what the AMA is, it's the Academy of Model Aeronautics, and it is like the overall grand overarching club of RC everything. Okay. Not even RC. They do control line, free flight, model rocketry, jets, turbines.
Wow.
Just all model aircraft.
Very cool. Okay.
And purchasing a license through them gives you not only access to a bunch of cool stuff that they have, but also insurance coverage.
Okay.
So if you're, I haven't looked up the details.
Run your glider into your friend's eye.
And I need to go to the doctor. Yeah. He brought it up this time. I didn't. I was going to let it slide.
It's a perfect example, though.
So it's cool.
You didn't have to go to the hospital.
No, I didn't. So there's a couple different memberships you can get. I bought the full membership, which is the big one.
Okay.
It's $75 a year.
Okay.
So really not bad.
Yeah.
Not a whole lot. But what it gets you is, let's see here, I can get additional family members $38 each.
Oh.
So I can get family members cheaper. But it gives me $2.5 million personal liability insurance coverage.
Wow.
I have no idea what that means. And from what I hear, all of the insurance coverages are after my own insurance coverage stuff, I think.
Okay, so it hits you first, and then
AMA takes over.
If needed, they take over.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
that's fair for $75. That's not too bad.
Then $25,000 medical coverage and AD&D policy, so accidental death and dismemberment. Yeah, with a $10,000 death benefit.
Oh wow.
Yeah, $1,000 fire, theft, and vandalism coverage.
Okay.
So that's the insurance stuff. So pretty decent insurance for if you're out flying, because as we know, if you're flying either turbines or internal combustions, those things can get squirrely.
And I've seen people lose fingers because of the...
Oh, yeah. Cranking up those engines.
Yeah.
So, but then I also get a Model Aviation monthly magazine.
Okay, cool.
I get that print. There's a members-only section of the AMA website. I haven't figured out what that is yet.
So you get a login to that? All right.
Yeah. I am the ability to fly at thousands of AMA chartered club sites with appropriate club memberships. So I can now, all clubs that are sanctioned by the AMA require AMA membership to fly because of the insurance coverage and stuff.
Yeah.
Because you get a AMA number when you register, and that is how they track all that.
Very cool.
So I have my AMA number. My card is on the way, and I will be able to fly at Soar, Utah.
That is awesome.
I'm so excited. So, and then there's a whole bunch of other cool stuff. And then they've got, it allows, so the full membership, it says, allows you to fly planes over 2 pounds and greater than 60 miles an hour, and you can fly internal combustion engines. You can do that anyway, but if you want the coverage for flying those things, you have to get the full membership. You can't use their lesser membership.
Okay.
So,
and that's just for the coverage, the insurance coverage.
As far
stuff.
as I understand, yeah.
Okay.
So, but there's some pretty cool stuff, and I'm excited. A lot of times when you go to events, nice bounce, events and club meetings, they don't always require you to be a member of a club. You just have to have your AMA coverage.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have your AMA number, they'll let you fly, and they'll encourage you to join the club. But most of the time, like at the Soar Utah, you don't have to be a member of the Intermountain Slope Soarers of Utah. You just they
just want you to be.
They just
AMA,
want you to come.
right?
You need to be AMA.
If you're gonna fly.
Yeah, if you're gonna fly. So yeah, so that is my news. I am super excited for that because I've also done some work to prepare myself for Soar Utah, and having my AMA license and number is getting me there.
That's pretty awesome. Yours is way better than mine.
Yeah.
So
let's hear your news.
I got a job.
Yay!
Which is good.
Because COVID is stupid.
Yeah. We also went on vacation.
That's
this
right,
last
you did.
week for a few days, and I had a birthday. So
you're 44
now. And so between
Oh,
all
you're
of
old.
that, I flew very little this week.
Yeah.
And did very little, and last week, and did very little with RC stuff.
So you didn't do any work on Senor Elf?
Yeah. Senor Elf is still broken in my office.
Man.
It's like, oh, look at the beautiful weather. I can't fly.
Well, it is, like, I get it because you fixed it twice now.
Yeah.
The third time is like, okay.
And I want to fix it. And I have it in a place where I look at it all of the time, and I think, I need to fix that.
But it's really disheartening after the third time. It's
Yeah.
like, man.
It really, really is really, really rough because I need to tear it completely apart again. And I haven't even, because the servos are still attached to the nose. So I have to pull those off.
Yeah.
Strip off the glue, clean it up a little bit, fix the dowel to fit inside and everything. I mean, it's not going to take me, but I bet I can get it done in probably an hour to an hour and a half.
Maybe 2 at most.
Yeah, at most. I don't think it would take me 2, but I mean, between an hour and a half.
But it's still, you have to do it again.
I do, but I want to go fly it.
Yeah. No, for sure.
But I can't.
I know.
And I'm actually a little terrified to fly it. I'm assuming I'm just going to crash it again and break it.
We just need to get you on a simulator.
Again.
Like maybe, here's what I need to do. I need to get you my Phoenix RC simulator.
Okay.
And the dongle that goes with it. Help you get it set up on your computer. And you can slope soar all day long at home.
That'd be fun.
Well, you don't have all day long anymore because you now have a job.
I have a job now, so
which is great.
It's yay.
But you have less time.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll do that one of these days. We'll get you set up on that so you can practice on something that doesn't need fixing constantly.
Very good. Very good. So with my new products, I haven't ordered anything yet. So I have nothing new on my plate for products that I'm using. Nothing at all.
Nothing old that you've you're using again or still using?
No, I did. I did spend a little bit of time with my Arduino and looking at that to hook up the controller.
Oh, yeah.
I did do that like the beginning of last week. I spent a couple hours looking at that, figuring some things out there.
Figuring out how to connect your FrSky receiver to it.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's going to be relatively simple, but I got to decide what I'm going to do with it.
Yeah.
So right now, I'm not doing anything with that, but I could probably have something working within 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah.
Coded and everything.
Okay.
I don't think it would take me that long. The biggest would be just deciding how to decipher the signal that is coming in.
Yeah, that's gonna be the tricky part.
Yeah. So once I get a readout of what that looks like and decide how I'm going to utilize that, the code will be easy. I can get it to do whatever I want.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, I could make it open trash cans. I mean, whatever. But I did play around with that, looked at that a little bit, but nothing. I mean, that was it. So
that's all sorts of fun.
Yeah. How about you?
And sad.
Yeah, it really is.
So I got one new product. So if you remember in our last episode, just before we recorded, I think that day or a day or so before, I had placed the order for my new FrSky receiver.
Yes.
The Archer GR6.
Yes. Did you get that?
It came in so fast.
Awesome.
Like it shipped from Hong Kong. Well, excuse me. It shipped from Shenzhen to Hong Kong and then to the U.S. The extra $9 I paid for shipping to get it here that fast.
Yeah.
Absolutely worth it right now. When COVID first started happening, I ordered the kit for my foam board cutter from China.
Yeah.
That took 2.5 months to get here.
Ugh, so rough.
And shipping has gotten worse since then. But this, like it shipped through DHL.
Yeah.
I'm so happy with them.
Yeah,
that
DHL,
was awesome.
Internationally, DHL generally does a really good job.
Yeah, I was very impressed.
Yeah.
I was super sketched out by them, but they did great. It showed up. I thought it was going to be I thought it was going to arrive after I was on my trip. It showed up the day I left instead. So I was able to reroute it and tell it I'm not going to be home. Send it to my neighbor's house.
Oh, really?
They delivered it to Rob's house for me.
What? That's awesome.
Yeah. So I picked it up on my way home from work before I went on my trip because it came a day early. I was expecting it to arrive while I was gone.
Oh, very cool.
But I have that. I've set it up to my receiver. I have it set. It's so cool. Hang on. I'm going to grab my thing.
Careful.
So it's super
He's gonna
tiny.
grab his thing.
Not that thing. It's a good thing this isn't technically a kid's show. So it's super tiny. The receiver is super tiny.
I'm not saying anything.
No, you're just laughing. So this is the receiver here.
Wow.
So it's got a hard plastic case.
Wow.
It's got 5 sets of pins sticking out the front and then a 6th set of pins going flat along the bottom sticking backwards. And that's where I'm going to stick my power.
So real quick, I'll pull this up onto the video.
So really nice. And it's got the same smart port S-Bus plug that all their latest receivers have. It came with an extra set of antennas that are supposed to be much nicer. I haven't bothered to play with them yet. So, but this thing has a built-in altimeter and variometer.
Come with the cable for
yes,
this
it did.
too? That's awesome.
So I have it set up so that when I have it in my quote-unquote default mode that I've set, it's just a standard receiver. I flip one switch and it'll read out the altitude every 10 seconds. I have another switch that'll turn on the variometer beep so it'll play a tone and the tone will adjust as I'm ascending and descending. And then I have another switch that will reset what it determines to be 0 altitude. It'll reset that to 0. So no matter where I'm flying, where I launch, I can set
0.
to 0. So
How
I
much
know
did
what
this cost?
That cost $35.
Oh, I totally need this for my glider.
Yeah. So for the glider series, FrSky, the Archer ones, well, any of them.
This is a glider series, right?
Yeah, because it's a G.
The
GR6. They make a GR6 and a GR8.
Who needs 8 for a glider? What are we putting that on? I mean, how big of a glider is that?
That would be at least 3 meters because you'd then have... Well, you could do it on a 2-meter glider.
So you'd have your...
Ailerons, flaps. So that's 4 servos right there.
Yeah.
And then elevator and rudder. That's 6.
Yeah, I guess.
And then some have spoilers. Some have 3 sets of wing control surfaces, so flaps, mid flaps, and ailerons.
Whoa!
And
but that's a
huge old glider.
That's a big glider. That's you're using another plane to take you up.
Yeah. Well, you could slope soar that.
Yeah.
That's just a 20-pound glider.
Yeah, you just have somebody else that throws it.
You have 2 people that throw it. I've seen them fly. They're so cool.
This is pretty awesome. So those of you on the video, you got to see it. It's super, super tiny.
I'll put a link for it in the description. I ordered this through HoraceRC.com, so it is FrSky's worldwide official dealer website.
We'll have a link in. Yeah. We'll have links through, depending on how you're viewing this or consuming this.
It'll be in our show notes.
There'll be links and notes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So check it out. Look for it. I want one of these. This is awesome.
It's really nice.
And it's tiny.
It weighs like nothing.
It's lighter than my 4-channel that I have in my glider right now.
Yeah, I'm really impressed. They did a great job with this. And binding it was super easy.
And this is the one that has over-the-air updates, right? So when they come out with an update for it, you can just push it from your transmitter. That is...
I never have to plug it in again. I never have to touch the bind button again.
Once you've bound to it.
Once it's bound to my receiver or my transmitter, I never have to push the bind button again. I can bind it to whatever model I want without touching buttons because my receiver or my transmitter already knows its code and everything.
I
can just transfer.
That is super awesome. So have you bound it to your
I have, because I've set it up and I set it up. I turned on the tones and everything, and I was sitting there at my desk raising and lowering and raising and lowering, and
it was working.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it's
I am jealous.
It's down to it's accurate to 0.1 meters.
0.1 meters?
I think so. Hang on.
1/10 of a meter. Wow. What's that? About 3 inches? Roughly, for those in America?
10 centimeters is.
Yeah, about approximately 3 meters. I mean, 3 inches.
That jumped.
Yeah, I don't know what you're looking for.
The box that I pulled it out of. There it is. Okay, found it. Sorry.
It's not my office. I don't know.
No, but I'm in the middle of rearranging it.
Yeah, you are. Plus, you were taking apart some other stuff, too.
Yeah, I'll tell you about that in a bit. So let's see here.
So these are the stats from it?
These are the stats. It's 4.5 grams. That is its weight. Dimensions, it is 33 millimeters by 15 by 9.7. Operating voltage is 3.5 to 10 volts.
3.5 to 10? Nice.
Okay, altimeter range and resolution. Negative 700 meters to 10,000 meters at 0.1 meter.
Whoa.
So it's got a huge range it can track.
Yeah.
And accurate to 0.1 meter. Wow. And its vertical speed range is plus or minus 10 meters per second. So the vertical speed is a little off, but honestly, that's not a big deal.
No, but this would help me ton, being able to
really
tell if my flyer, because sometimes it's just angled it a certain way. I can't tell. Sometimes I can't even tell which way it's facing.
Yeah.
And that knowing like, oh, it's actually falling right now, or it's going up.
Yeah, and that's when like the tones that it plays are nice, because it'll beep faster and higher as you're climbing, and it'll be like a dead monotone when you're pretty level, and then as you descend, it'll give a really slow low beep. It's really cool. That is my new toy. Aloft still doesn't have them in stock. I look forward to when they do, because that'll just make it faster to get them here.
Yeah.
But I will be ordering.
But Horace does.
HoraceRC.com.
HoraceRC.com. They do.
I will warn you now, the link I am putting is an affiliate link.
So if you have a problem with that.
If you feel like we've been putting affiliate links in our description. So if it'll help us out if you like what we're doing and you want some of this stuff anyway. So, but that is my new toy.
That is awesome.
It is awesome. It's going in my Spirit. The big 2-meter glider above your head that has the wings on it today.
Whoa. When did you put the wings on?
Earlier this week.
Because you fixed the nose 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. So
roughly.
So we'll move on to project updates. Yeah, we'll jump around a bit today.
Sure.
Okay,
I mean, that falls in with what you're doing here.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm putting the GR6 in my Great Plains Spirit 2-meter glider.
Which we talked a lot about.
We
and
did.
The video of him fixing it is out there somewhere. No, the Instagram. You can
There's
just
an
catch
Instagram post with
Catch it on Instagram. You can see what happened.
So this is a 2-meter glider, elevator and rudder control only. It's got a polyhedral wing, so no ailerons. Everyone says it's an amazing plane. I'm sure it is. I haven't had good opportunities to fly it. But because I broke the nose off, as I told you guys last time, I got the nose put back on, and I put covering over the nose. So now there's a big red patch over the nose, which looks awesome.
It actually doesn't look too bad.
But it just shows off where I crashed it.
How does that, because you put balsa in there, did that change the weight of the nose at all?
I don't know. I'm not too worried about it because it originally had like a couple ounces of lead weight in the front.
Oh, okay.
So now I just put less lead weight. But I do need to balance it out because when I originally crashed it, I broke the canopy. And I made myself a new one that sits on there flat and that I can then put my GoPro on.
Oh, very nice.
So I need to refigure out the balance for it with the GoPro and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I also have a different GoPro than I did when I first flew this. So I
Very
will have to
cool.
put some weight in. With that, I have found that this glider, so it came in as an ARF kit, so almost ready to fly.
Yeah.
So my father-in-law just had to do a little assembly, add in the electronics, and he was good to go.
Yeah.
It has the option for spoilers. I just have to cut them out. So what spoilers do is their little flaps. If you ever watch the wing of a real airplane as it's flying, when it's coming into land, these flaps will pop up and stick straight up out of the top.
Yeah.
Those are spoilers. What they're doing is they're killing the airflow and killing the lift so that it slows the plane down and causes it to fall. So you put those on a glider and it helps you bring it into land when it's cooking across the slope. So
that's awesome.
I just need to find a servo and I will set those up. I may or may not have it ready for Soar, Utah. If I do, it'll be awesome. If not, it'll be awesome when I do get it set up.
Yeah, that looks fun to fly.
It's a huge airplane. It's
it
2
is.
meters wide and 1 meter long.
How does that fit in your car?
The wings come apart in 2 pieces.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense.
That's how I've had it stored, and you've never noticed it.
Nope, I never have.
So yeah, and I've patched a couple holes where the original monocoat on it, I think it was actually ultra coat. Either way, the covering on it, there were a couple holes in it, and there's still a couple more that I found since then that I need to patch. There's one in the horizontal stabilizer you can see there. So I need to get those patched up, but that's super easy. And one of these days I may uncover and recover the entire thing because the covering's super old.
But it still looks nice.
It still does.
I mean, you can wipe it down a little bit because there's a couple spots that a little dirt. But for those of you who are watching the video, you can see we're looking up, and that's because it's right there. So
I'll get pictures and
video
of it out. So that is my latest toy and my latest projects. Well, one of my latest projects, but we'll let you talk now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you really have done more than me. So while I'll. Obviously, I didn't have any latest projects, but
because I've done nothing.
Yeah, what I'll do is I'm going to talk about my latest outing, and then you can do your latest outing after I talk about my product.
Okay, absolutely.
And so my latest outing was actually while we were on vacation. I took my DJI drone. It's the Mavic Air, and took it up there and was just flying around a little bit. And I showed my brother-in-law how to fly it. He was actually a little nervous to fly it.
$700 drone. I'd be nervous too.
It flies itself.
That honestly makes me more nervous.
He was pretty nervous, but we flew it around for a while. I took up my 3 batteries, and it was just relaxed, just flying around in the campsite that we were at, and the kids thought it was awesome. And then I showed him how to control it because that one you can control it with hand motions and stuff like that. Showed him how to do that, and like I said, it flies itself. It really does.
Yeah.
And then I put it in sports mode and showed him what it could do, and he's like, I can't do that. So that was, I mean, not much, but I flew a little bit. But between the vacation and working, it killed my flying time. and breaking my
Oh, I did
glider.
have another outing, but I'll talk about it later. I forgot about this.
Well,
one.
you haven't even talked about your outings yet, so
That's right. But I have none listed on there, but
I know.
it's a lie. So I'll talk about it.
So the other thing is, since I did have a birthday, my wife's going to get me my first few parts for building my own FPV racing drone.
Awesome.
So that is going to be it's probably going to take me a couple months, but we've talked about our friend Rob.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a lot of insider information, so I'm going to sit down with him and talk to him about kind of the parts he decided to go with and some things to get some ideas of how I want to run. I'll talk to Derek, obviously, about it also.
Because I'm such a pro at all these things.
Yes. Well, you do more research than I do, which is strange, but
it's because I have a thing where I tend to get buyer's remorse really fast and really easy. So to help with that, I research the crap out of anything I buy.
So you feel very comfortable about, and then I just trust your research.
Yeah.
So I am looking forward to that. The $100 that I've got for my birthday to go do that is not going to get me everything I need.
That'll get you like half of it then.
But yeah, it should get me my frame. It should get me my controller, not my controller.
Receiver.
Yeah, my
Your flight controller.
My flight controller, and
you can get one of the new Archer receivers.
Oh,
because they have ones that are built that are just like plug into a flight. That are designed for plugging into a flight controller.
I will have to look at that.
Yeah.
So.
Awesome.
But yeah, so that's the next thing on my project list besides fixing my Alpha. If nothing, I just want to fix it so when I get the urge, I can go fly.
Yeah.
Because right now, I'm like, oh, I want to go fly, and I look at it, I'm like, sad. Sad face. Not going to go fly. So you said, even though on the notes you say you don't have anything, but you did remember you went out on that.
I did.
Where did you go?
So 2 weeks ago, Sunday, I went and we went over to my father-in-law's for dinner.
Okay.
And I took my DLG to show him, and then I took the little plane, the little.
We talked about that last time.
Yeah, my little C-17 C-130 thing.
That thing flies amazingly.
It does, except when there's wind.
Which I was afraid of that. Like how light it was. I was surprised on how well it did fly.
Mm-hmm.
So you did find out that wind and it do not get along.
Yeah. So I took my father-in-law out to just a park by his house. Which is a nice open park, lots of space. But the problem is it's ringed with trees.
Obstacles.
Yeah. But worse than that is when there's wind blowing over a ring of trees, it creates a whole lot of turbulence and downdrafts and just weird wind currents. The wind was being weird that day anyway. I had a hard time flying my glider.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I'd whip it up and get it above the trees and I'd be in the wind and then I'd get down below the trees and the wind would completely change.
Yeah.
It was a nightmare. But I flew that for a bit, let him try flying it for a bit. He did well. And then when we were getting ready to go, I pulled out the little gray airplane, got it up in the air, and I flew it, and I did one loop with it, and then took it, and it started going downwind. And I'm like, bugger. And I tried to turn out of it. I had a hard time doing that, so I just chopped the throttle, and it just glided itself straight into a tree.
Oh. So how much?
Didn't hurt it at all.
Oh, so that's what that's the question. How much repair do you have to do?
Well, it did more damage to my legs from climbing the tree. I got a couple cuts and scrapes as I climbed up to get it, but I got it.
And it flies still. Did you check it after you flew? And it flies still.
It's still fine.
See, I mean, you're a giant, but I guess you need to grab her or not, put it 20 feet up into a tree.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's how that went. That was my only outing. Still a good time. Still had fun. Looking forward to next outings and stuff. Looking forward to Soar, Utah.
Yeah. I don't think
2 weeks.
I don't think I'll be going to Soar, Utah now because my new schedule.
Are you working Saturdays?
No. I could go Saturday, but isn't Soar, Utah 3 days?
It's Thursday through Monday.
Yeah, 4 days, 5 days.
Yeah.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Yeah, 5 days.
Yeah, I might be able to go Saturday.
Yeah. I'm definitely going Saturday. I might go parts of Sunday as well.
Okay.
just as a lazy day to go hang out.
I might be able to join you. So make sure you let me know before you go.
Yeah, absolutely.
I won't be able to fly.
No, you won't.
But
that's okay. You can be on camera duty.
Yeah, which is usually what I'm at anyway.
Yeah.
Even when I'm flying the camera.
We need to figure that out or switch that up so that we can get some good video of you.
Yeah. That looks like all we've got today, this week. It just, with all of the things going on and everything changing up, it just ended up being a slow RC week or a couple weeks. And I'm
trying to think of other projects.
I'm pretty sad. Oh, what is this thing back here you got going on?
So before Steven came over, he was a little slow getting over here, so I started working on another airplane.
Yeah.
So a year ago, I inherited from my younger brother I don't know the wingspan of this thing, 50-ish inch wingspan RC plane.
Yeah, what's that? That looks like it's 1.5 meters.
I don't know. I'm not good at the conversions. I'm trying to get better at using both units of measurement, but I'm not good at converting. So I started work on the wing, as you can see here in the video. I took the covering off of half of it because the story goes that before my brother got it, it sat at his friend's house for who knows how long, just hanging from the ceiling. Had a gas engine in it and everything. I've got that taken apart and put in a box somewhere on my shelves.
Have you ran that yet?
No, I haven't run any gas engines yet. I need to get new fuel.
Okay.
But there was some serious body damage to, not serious, but there was some body damage to the fuselage, so I uncovered that whole thing so that I can replace some balsa.
Yeah.
Like the whole tail section, like the horizontal and vertical stabilizers are not connected to it at all. I need to reglue them on.
Whoa. Okay.
So there's some serious work I need to do. And I figured I've taken the covering off the fuselage, might as well take it off the wings and recover them anyway. It's a nice plane, should fly great. It's a float plane. I've got the floats for it so I can fly it on water.
That is pretty awesome.
My end goal with this airplane is to convert it to electric power so it's cheaper to fly.
Okay.
Because just with how expensive glow fuel is, I want to really make sure the planes that fly it are special.
Yeah.
And if I do have any huge models, I'll probably put gas engines in them.
Where's the body for that?
It's hiding behind everything.
Oh.
See underneath the green wing?
Yep, I see it back there. Okay.
So I'm going to limit what flies on glow. Bigger airplanes will fly on gas because it runs off just regular two-stroke gas.
Yeah.
And then other airplanes will be electric. But this one I'm going to convert to electric.
That should be a fun project.
It will be. I've already looked into the engine, the motor I'm going to put on it, and the ESC size I need and everything. So it should be pretty easy. And then it'll also give me a good opportunity to practice covering a wing.
Yeah.
Because if I do terrible on this wing, it's a bummer I ruined a wing, but it's not a...
I mean, you would have to be really bad to ruin the wing.
Exactly.
I could do it.
Yeah.
But I don't think you can.
Yeah, and just recently I actually even cracked part of the sheeting on the wing, so I need to fix that too.
Yeah. Well, that's going to be a fun project.
Yeah, so I started uncovering that. There's a huge pile of... you can't see it, but there's a huge pile of covering scrappings in front of us. So, yeah,
that's what he was working on when I got here. And I'm like, let's talk about that because that's going to be good. So that'll be a fun project.
I may even also... So on this wing, sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're good.
On this wing, there's a single servo in the center of the wing that controls your aileron movement. And one servo controls both ailerons. I've disconnected the purple one in the video.
Oh, really? They work in conjunction with each other?
So the way it works is coming off your
weird.
servo horn in the center, there it connects to one rod that goes out to above both ailerons. And then there's what's called a bell crank to convert horizontal to vertical movement.
So if one comes up, the other one goes down?
Yes. One goes up, the other goes down
so
automatically.
It's all about the turning.
Yes. There is no flaps.
Okay.
Or no flaperons. But what I'm considering doing is removing that whole single servo bell crank system and putting in individual aileron servos so I can have flaperons.
Yeah.
Because it's a small plane. It's going to fly kind of slow anyway. But it would be fun just because I'm flying over water to get me out of the water and nicely back onto the water, put the flaps down to get a little extra lift.
Yeah, because landing on the water and not landing is not what you want to do unless you bring your waders.
Or a kayak. Yeah.
Something that gets you in the water with minimal wetness.
Yeah, all float flies, always there's a kayak present. So yeah, that is my goal with this airplane. There's no timeline on it, but it's something that I want to do. It's just I work on it on occasion.
So as we see updates with that, we'll let you know.
Yeah.
I'm sure he'll post in Instagram.
Yeah,
so
I'll get pictures of this up on Instagram.
put that there. But along with that, we don't really we didn't put anything in here for beginner tips right now. Now next time, because I'll probably have ordered some stuff, we may have some things. But how about with like stripping off of that and changing that out? Have you learned anything from doing that? Is there anything special about, because like doing a restoration like you're doing on this thing, a restoration and a retro, which is what you're doing on this thing.
Yeah.
Is there anything so far that you've learned that you might want to share with everybody?
So, okay, yeah, I'll talk a little bit about how monocoat works. So there's a couple different. The covering that is put on balsa airplanes is a heat activated. It's a heat activated adhesive, as well as heat activated shrink coating.
Oh, so it has adhesive.
Okay, so I grabbed a small piece of the covering that I used, you can see in the video, to patch the Spirit glider. It's this transparent red, very thin, very lightweight. The way it works is there's two pieces there.
Okay.
There is the covering, and then there is a protective material on the adhesive side.
So you pull that off.
You pull that off.
Putting it on.
Yeah, so what you'll do is, if you're doing small patches, you can just peel off the whole thing and just place it on. And then you'll take
your iron, essentially.
You'll take, I've got one here in the video. It's a covering iron. You turn that on to a low temperature because I'll explain in a sec. So you turn it on to a low temperature and you touch it to the covering, and it will activate the adhesive and glue it to the model. Okay. So like when you're covering a wing, you'll tack it in a couple places or along the main center spar, and then you'll gently stretch it or gently pull on it to the edges and then tack it down along the edges. And then you'll run it along the ribs to glue it to the ribs. And then you'll take a heat gun, like a hair dryer, your general industrial heat gun, and you'll just heat it up, and that'll heat it up and shrink it so any wrinkles or imperfections will
go away
pretty much.
Yeah.
Now, the tricky thing with this stuff is you want to apply it with a low heat so that if you need to go back and re-stick anything or re-shrink it, you can use a little bit higher of a heat. And so if you start with a high heat, then there's less you can do in the future.
There's no fixing, basically.
Yeah. And when you're applying it to a wing, you got to do it carefully that it stretches properly. Otherwise, you'll twist your wing.
And that would be bad.
That is the tricky part.
Yes.
Covering a fuselage, super easy. You can't really twist that because it's a structural frame.
Yeah.
That's pretty solid.
But a wing that is lighter weight and is
there's less structure to it. So yeah, a wing you can add enough warp that you'll ruin the flight characteristics, and then you've just wasted a bunch of covering material that's actually really not cheap. A roll of, I think, 10 meters, no less than that, because like covering the Spirit glider, I think would take 2 rolls.
Oh, whoa, okay.
So, and they're like $30 a roll.
Yeah, so it's not the cheapest stuff.
Not cheap stuff, no.
So that is definitely something you want to practice on a smaller one.
Mm-hmm.
If you're getting into the retro or refurbish and
/ building just balsa models, if you can have someone teach you how to do it and help you along, that'll save you all the heartache in the world. But yeah, just start low heat so that you have room to fix.
That makes sense.
That's what I've been doing. I've been cutting little pieces of this transparent red to make patches, and like I'll peel off the backing, lay it on there, and just run over it quickly with the heat gun.
Is this the same stuff you wanted to use? You were going to use for my glider, the 2 rips that I've got on my glider.
I think I have a roll of transparent purple up there.
Sweet.
Or some other. All of the rolls I have are transparent.
Okay, cool. Well,
I have a transparent black, green, purple. I think purple, red, and a couple others. So, yeah, I've got the stuff that we can cover you up with.
So, yeah, watch for those updates as he gets those done. And as I start working on my FPV racing drone, there'll be some stuff on that.
So, on that.
Yes.
So, finish your statement.
No, that was it. That was it. I just watched for those to come out. And then I was...
Because I say we talk about your thoughts so far with... Because we're like...
Oh.
Your racing quad. What are your thoughts so far?
So, there were some design...
This is a good time to have this discussion.
That's true. There are just... So, looking at Rob's drone, I like it. I've never seen him personally fly it. I've seen it fly in video, but I've never been with him when he's been flying it.
It flies really nice. Seems to, at least.
But there's some design things about it that I'm not a super fan of, and I don't know if that's because what he chose or because it's his first one or if that's typical for that style of racing drone.
Like component placement and frame layout?
Yeah, some of that.
Yeah, that could be all of the above.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And that's some of the things that I want to look. That's why I want to talk to him about some of the decisions that he went with.
And like what would he change if he were to do it all again?
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Because like I said, there's some layout of it that I'm not a really big fan of. Not that it's bad. It's just I would like it to look a little different.
Yeah.
Some of it. And then some of it I would like it laid out a little better.
Well, and he's even admitted that there are things about it he wished were different and cleaner.
Yes.
So.
And we've talked about some of that too. So, but other than that, I like, it's an 8-inch wingspan, right? Or model, or 8-inch from
8-inch wheelbase.
Yeah, basically from tip to tip of the frame.
Motor center to motor center.
Yeah, motor center is 8 inches, I believe, on that. Which is
5-inch.
Is it only
it's
5?
5-inch, yeah.
Oh, okay. But that's still the same size I want to go through.
5 inches is a good size.
Obviously, it'll be between the 250 and the 55, 250 grams and 55 pound weight limit. That's where I'm aiming for.
If it's over a couple pounds, you've done something horribly wrong.
Well, I mean, depends on like motor and battery size and different
Battery's
things
going
like
to be
that.
the biggest factor there.
Exactly. And those are some things, like his battery I think is actually pretty big, but again, I'm not real familiar with other batteries. And so those are just some things that I want to talk to our friend Rob about to get some of his insight of what he's learned. Color and aesthetics and stuff like that. He got these LEDs that when they were working, freaking awesome. Like I want those.
Oh, absolutely.
But I might get a different controller that is a little more fancy that can offer a little more functionality when it comes to that. Because I don't really like the way they've modeled that controller for controlling like peripherals. Like controlling the LEDs is great and it looked awesome, but
it's a little tricksy.
It is.
As a reminder, the flight controller on his quad is the Mamba F407.
Yes, and they have
others.
others.
It's great flight controller, works well. He's loving it.
Yeah, he does. He loves it. He loves it. There's nothing wrong with that. I would just.
Doesn't have the features or.
I would start with that one personally, and look at all of the features that it says it can do. I know what I've seen it do, and then look at what some of the other models can offer me, and see if there's any that I really am interested in.
Might as well put that back.
Excuse me.
We're both dying over here.
Well, Utah air quality has been pretty bad lately. So
yeah, stupid California fires.
It's not COVID; it's air quality. But so as like colors and stuff, I actually am thinking I will stay with like a purple theme. since my glider is purple, and I actually really like the way my glider looks.
So you do purple LEDs?
I think I would do, well, Rob's will do purple, but I'll do purple LEDs if I can find a purple...
like the stands,
the stands,
the posts
and
stuff? Okay.
Yeah. Get everything, go everything purple.
Nice.
I might even, find some gel covering to cover the battery, and so it's purple too. So just keep
gotcha.
like keep it purple, because like I said, I like the way my glider looks.
The purple people eater.
And that's a great name for it too. So
let us know if you want a purple people eater T-shirt.
So
I want a purple people eater T-shirt now.
I think they have them out there, but
not one that has a quad on it.
That's true. We will have to look at doing.
We need to
something.
make shirts.
I think there might be something that we would have to change something on that.
Probably,
because there is copyright things on that one.
I'm sure that
song is ancient.
Yeah, that song's got to be free reign now.
But anyway, so those are some of my thoughts on that.
Okay.
I'm, like I said, besides that, I need to just do a little bit of research and get some information. So I'm hoping to be able to talk to Rob tomorrow, at least for a few minutes about it, and get some notes. And since I have $100,
that'll
to get
easily
started,
buy you a frame.
Yes,
like that'll buy you a good frame. That may not cover your stack.
he said
his was like $45.
Yeah, for both pieces, for the
ESC board and the flight controller.
Controller, it was just under $50.
Yeah, which isn't bad. That's a good price.
Between the two, I figured that is going to basically take the $100.
Yeah, because then you got to get shipping in there.
Yeah.
Shipping will be pretty cheap depending
on where it's coming from and stuff like that. So, I'm excited to get started on building that. The other thing I'm going to need to get is a new soldering iron, although Rob's got my current one, but I want one more like your Weller.
I recommend it.
So,
get the
extra tips at the same time.
Absolutely, my word.
But, so, yeah, those are some of my thoughts on that. It's not set in stone yet, pricing, because I don't know if the prices is going to change getting purple, because some places it's like, oh, these colors are the $5 version. Oh, but if you want these colors, it's the $25 version. I'm like, they're the same thing. Why are the colors different? But so we'll see on that as I start digging in and stuff. But I'm aiming for purple.
All right, nice.
So those are my thoughts.
I'm going to recommend an F7 board.
An F7 board.
It's the latest generation of boards
for
the flight controller.
The flight controller.
Rob's is an F4.
Okay.
Good board, capable board. Lots of stuff out there for it. But F7 came out maybe a year ago, several months ago. I don't know. Things are coming out for it now. It is a more capable board.
Sounds like a great place to go.
It's going to be a little bit more expensive. But I would recommend that's the route I recommended going for Rob. He decided to go with the F4, which is fine.
The nice thing about going with the older board, and we've talked about this.
More support.
You have a lot of support out there. There's people flying it. They've tweaked it. They've done things with it. They know what they can give you and what support they have. It's out there, which is that the community support is what can lead you.
Community support is great.
Down a path to pick a certain thing. And since that's out there, and he even mentioned that, he's like, I know there's support for this board out here.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not the latest. Because we had this conversation when we were troubleshooting his latest issue, which I never did figure out what. I didn't figure out exactly what.
No, he's just getting a new board, isn't he?
Well, that's what we had talked about, but he came back and changed, said some things, but I didn't hear everything. I don't remember everything he said. So, because it was like in passing. It's like because we live behind each other, Rob and I, and so it was like in passing. Oh, I found this out. Blah 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 blah. Okay, thanks. Sounds good.
Okay, so but speaking of community and influencing stuff and influencing words, I have after our talk with all these quad stuff, I have added to my list of future aircraft.
A quad. Are you going racing quad?
No, not sort of.
Maybe.
So I've already talked about how I want to build a Cinewoop.
Yes.
A quad that's designed to be super stable and floaty and video stuff.
Yeah. Like my DJI.
Yeah.
But
kind
cheaper.
of. But cheaper. Much cheaper. So I've already talked about that. And then last time I talked about my Blade Inductrix, which is in the class of Teeny Whoop.
Okay. Yeah, I remember
and
that.
I put a post on RC groups in the FPV racing section.
Yeah, okay.
And I put a question out and said, hey, I have an Inductrix, an original Inductrix, which would be better? Modify my Inductrix with a new board, because I'm pretty sure my board is bad.
Okay.
And put a camera on and build a Teeny Whoop from that, or buy a Teeny Whoop, or build a Teeny Whoop.
And what'd they say?
Everyone's like, they're cheap enough, just buy a pre-built one. Because a guy shared a link with me. I can get the Whoop, the charger, 4 batteries. They run off 1S or 2S batteries, really small. Extra props, 2 race skates, and a set of goggles for $120.
That's not too bad. So
and that's everything I need.
You're flying right out of the gate, including having obstacles to.
All I'd have to do is plug it into my computer to make sure the programming's how I want it.
Yeah, that actually is.
And
$120. That's actually not too bad.
I can and that's a super cheap set of goggles, but still, it's a place to start.
And that's the nice thing is like something like that. Like you can start there, but it looks like you can then upgrade as you need.
Yeah. So then the way the Teeny Whoops are produced and manufactured and sold is you can buy everything, replacement parts, every piece replaceable.
Yeah, it's like my other.
And it's brushless motors.
Nice.
Super tiny, like the size of a dime in diameter, and like a few stacks of pennies, a few pennies high, and like 16,000 kV.
Whoa.
So 16,000 revolutions per volt.
Yeah.
So super fast little buggers.
Yeah, they probably scream at you.
Oh yeah, they're quick little buggers. But I can set it up to fly in stabilized mode, horizon mode, or acro mode.
Yeah.
And they're perfect. And they've got ducted fans, so protected blades. So they're perfect for tearing around in your house with.
Not your house.
Not my house, but I'd do it anyway.
Yeah.
And some of the bigger ones, so the one I'm looking at is you can get 65 millimeter, which is 2.5 inches.
Yeah.
75, which is 3.
Okay.
Or 85, which is roughly 3.5. I'd get
So those are a little bit smaller than my drones.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the guy that I've been talking to on RC groups, who answered my forum post, he said the 65 is great for inside. The 85 is great for outside, even with a little bit of wind.
Oh.
And the 75 bridges the two beautifully. Like you can fly outside in gentle wind, and it's perfect for inside.
Okay.
So I'm going to go with a size 75.
Nice.
The one that I'm looking at is made by Happy Models. It's called the Mobula 7.
Okay.
It has an F4 board. The F7 boards haven't hit Tiny Whoops yet.
Yeah.
It's on its third version now.
Okay.
So it's got a upgraded frame that I think you can put a little LED light on the back of it.
Because LEDs, you always want more LEDs.
Exactly. Brushless motors. It's got the camera and video transmitter built into it. You just connect your goggles to it. I've been looking at different types of goggles, and I don't want to spend $300 on some really nice ones.
But
I
here's
want
the
some
thing about
decent
getting
ones.
the $300 goggles.
I'll never have to replace them.
You won't have to replace them, and you'll be able to take them from
Everything.
device to device.
Well, and I'll be able to do that with any set of goggles.
Yes, but your $300 goggle is going to be really nice.
It's true. And like Rob, so there's 2 different types of FPV goggles. There's the box goggles, which is what Rob has, where it's this big box. It looks like an Oculus Rift on your face.
Yes.
A little bit longer off your face, but it's got a 5-inch LED screen or LCD screen that you stare at.
Yeah.
And it's focused and adjusted so that you can see it clearly. So those tend to be on the cheaper side. Good goggles. The nice thing about those is you can typically remove the screen portion, so you don't have to have it mounted to your face. You can have it on like a tripod as a viewing station.
Yeah.
And then there are slimline goggles. I forget the actual name of them. But where it's much closer to your face, there is an individual screen in front of each one of your eyes.
Yeah.
You can center it in front of your eyes so it's adjusted properly, and then you can adjust the focus on each one.
And that
it gives you a much more immersive style.
And it'll give you a perceived stereoptics, which is not true because you only have one camera, but your brain fills in a lot of gaps.
Yeah, exactly. But the cheapest ones I've been able to find are $100, and they've got meh reviews. If you get up into the really nice ones where you're looking at $300, $400, $500, $700, then you're getting a diversity receiver and antennas, so you can put various types of antennas on it, and it'll find the best frequency to better track and get you the best feed. You can get high resolution on them.
I mean, if you're
DVR's built in,
racing, like if you're doing this as a sport,
that's the way to go.
That's the way to go, because you don't want to have glitches come in and you miss your flag or whatever, or you can't take the turn quick enough because you're glitching a little bit.
Yeah.
Like that's going to cost you tenths of a second, and tenths of a second is what races are won by.
Yeah, exactly. So I want somewhere between the two. I really like the slimline goggles as opposed to the box ones. And like all I'm going to use it for is tiny little quads, because I don't really want to get into big racing ones.
Yeah.
But just tiny little ones to race around the house, or that I can just put my camera on any other vehicle I have and turn into FPV.
Which will be fun.
Yeah, because I could.
And then you could also record.
Yeah, because you can. Most of like the really nice ones have DVRs built in.
Yeah,
so there's a lot of things I'm considering, but I'm definitely getting myself a tiny whoop. That is on my list. Probably after I get my little Gentle Lady 250 from Willy Nilly's.
Okay.
So probably next spring.
Yeah. So that's
between then,
probably
my wife and I are
about
getting new phones.
That's probably about when I'll finish my racer. So
yeah, that's what I'm looking at for next future projects and stuff. But it's fun.
Well, we added a lot of extra things today that went off of our show notes, which is fine because we hadn't put a lot in there.
It's been a busy couple weeks.
It has been, and that's the problem with it. But the kids start school. My kids start school next week.
Yeah.
Which I'm super, super excited about.
Sure. You don't look super excited.
Well, it's to get them out of the house. And my new schedule, I was going to give me some things. So I might be able to get some flying done during the week, just in the morning.
You could get some nice early morning breeze and thermal flying.
Yeah. So if I can get my glider fixed, then I would like to get some of this fall weather, morning weather, and see how it does. So we'll see. I just got to fix it, and I'm a little sad that I still have to fix that because
I'll help you.
I have to fix it, but that is what it is. So do you have any last comments or words you want to share?
One last thing. So the day we recorded this, the Friday before it's released, Flight Test just put out a new video.
Okay, for
little tiny servo-powered RC cars. So it's 2 servos, 3 wheels, a foam board platform, your battery, receiver, and a BEC, battery eliminator circuit, so a voltage regulator. What you do is you take one servo, you open it up, and you modify it so instead of being limited rotation, it's continuous rotation.
You cut off the limiter. Okay, yeah.
But then you also pull out one of the gears so it spins faster, one of the reducing gears.
Oh, okay.
So it spins faster, and you set that up on your elevator stick. So you get forward and reverse.
Yeah, yeah.
And then your other servo's in the front to turn your 2 front wheels. So your front wheels turn, your single rear wheel spins.
Got it. Okay, yeah.
And then what they did is they set up little FPV cameras on it, and they raced it around their shop. I've already looked into how much it would cost me to get 10 of those servos, $9.
For 10 of them?
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow.
And then I've looked into some really cheap voltage regulators.
Well,
I just need to get my foam board CNC fixed.
Foam boards, yeah, your CNC foam board.
Once I get that fixed, we can build all those and give them let the kids go racing.
That'd be fun.
So that is another future project that will interrupt everything once I get that CNC working.
You have to fix that CNC machine. I'd like to get a 3D printer because that would help me, especially when I start building my own drone, because I'll be able to build some of my own parts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Go check out Flight Test's latest video about the little servo cars. They're freaking awesome. And they'd be super, they're a little technical to build, but that'd be a lot of fun.
They sound like they'd be fun. I'll have to check it out because I haven't seen it.
I'll put a link to the video in the notes in the description. So
look for that. So, anything else?
Look out for our new logo that I'm going to try and design. I'm going to figure out.
Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about that after we get done recording tonight.
I'll show them later, but I figured out I'm going to be able to animate it, and it should be pretty awesome. So watch for that.
I'm excited to see if that actually animates.
It won't be on this video. It'll be probably on the next one.
Yeah, because you'll have to create it. So
yeah, but there you go. I think that's everything. Unless you got anything else?
I don't have anything else at this time because I didn't have
couple
anything
weeks,
else.
yeah.
So then we'll leave you. Remember, when flying inverted, up is down and down is expensive. RPM is how hard you hit the ground, and torque is how far you have to dig to get it out.
Yep.
Thanks, and we'll see you on the next one.
See you guys.
Bye.